is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path.
First reading. A reading from the book of Isaiah, chapter 52, verse 7 to 10. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of the messenger who announces peace, who brings good news, who announces salvation, who says to Zion, your God reigns. Listen, your sentinels lift up their voices, together they sing for joy, for in plain sight they see the return of the Lord to Zion. Break forth together into singing, you ruins of Jerusalem, for the Lord has comforted his people. He has redeemed Jerusalem. The Lord has bared his holy arm before the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our God. The word of the Lord.
Second reading. A reading from the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 1, verses 1 to 6. In the past, God spoke to our ancestors many times and in many ways through the prophets. But in these last days, He has spoken to us through His Son. He is the one through whom God created the universe, the one whom God has chosen to possess all things at the end. He reflects the brightness of God's glory and is the exact likeness of God's own being, sustaining the universe with His powerful word. After achieving forgiveness for the sins of all human beings, He sat down in heaven at the right side of God, the supreme power. The Son was made greater than the angels, just as the name that God gave Him is greater than theirs. For God never said to any of His angels, "You are my Son, today I have become your Father." Nor did God say about any angel, "I will be his Father, and he will be my Son." But when God was about to send His firstborn Son into the world, He said, "All of God's angels must worship Him." The word of the Lord.
How is Christmas going to be different today? How is it going to be different from all the other years you have celebrated Christmas? On this Christmas morning, let us ponder on this. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came to be through Him, and without Him nothing came to be. What came to be through Him was life, and this life was the light of the human race. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. A man named John was sent from God. He came for testimony, to testify to the light, so that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but came to testify to the light. The true light, which enlightens everyone, was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world came to be through Him. But the world did not know Him. He came to what was His own, but His own people did not accept Him. But to those who did accept Him, He gave power to become children of God, to those who believe in His name, who were born not by natural generation, nor by human choice, nor by a man's decision, but of God. And the Word became flesh, and made His dwelling among us. And we saw His glory, the glory as of the Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. John testified to him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, The one who is coming after me ranks ahead of me, because he existed before me. From his fullness we have all received grace in place of grace. Because while the law was given through Moses, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God, the only Son, God, who is at the Father's side, has revealed him. This is the gospel of the Lord. Every year we tell ourselves that Christmas should be different this year. But when we get to Christmas, we sometimes forget what it is about. And then we say Christmas was different this year in the way that it was not as good as last year's. It was not celebrated well as last year's. And every year we say this. Especially this year we might say we cannot celebrate Christmas the way we celebrated it the previous years. And it is not going to be as joyful as we celebrated it because of this coronavirus. But let me give you something that you can make this Christmas special. On this morning after midnight Mass, or as you prepare to go for Mass, you will experience the Lord being placed in the crib. In the church, the priest will place Jesus Christ symbolically in the crib. And also at your home, if you have made a crib, you might come home and place our Lord in this crib. Now St. Francis, who designed this crib or who introduced this crib, he had the idea of not just being symbolic in the way of making a crib and placing a statue of our Lord in the crib, but it is also in our lives. We should make a place in our lives so that as we place Jesus in the crib, he should be in our lives, in the home, in the crib of ourselves. So as you enter into this day, as you begin this day, or this Christmas day, to make it special, meditate on that crib. Meditate on the characters that surround our Lord's nativity. Mother Mary, Saint Joseph, the shepherds who came running to see our Lord, the angels who brought the message, the kings who came from afar to see our Lord and adore him. Meditate on those characters and see how they personally accepted our Lord into their lives. And see how you can, in a way, get into that crib. Be a part of those witnesses who saw our Lord. And see how you can witness to Christ and to bring him into your lives this Christmas. My dear friends, this will make this day special. This will make this year's Christmas special. So let us ponder on these as we enter into this day of our Lord's Nativity, Christmas Day.
Sri Wachanayano.